Show us your tips. Daggy and Beaver back with you to get stuck in to Champion Stakes Day, the last day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival. We've got Rosehill as a support act. How was Cup Day, Beaver?
My Cup Day was a very enjoyable day. Bit up and down, to be brutally honest. Got off to a bit of a flyer on track, but after the Cup, tended to go down a bit downhill for me, which was a bit of a shame. But hung around the mark.
Yeah, all systems go early on. It was, and then, as you say, the Flemington quaddie got very tough. I hope people followed the Randwick quaddie though, because that did pay $4,000, and it was put out on the show by an intelligent judge. So maybe got something out of that.
Yes.
And covered some of the blowout in the Cup itself. How was the on-track experience here, Randwick?
Was that Randwick? It was probably just an average-sized day. It wasn't overly busy. Wasn't hard to get yourself a beverage. And yeah, so it was quite enjoyable. Good viewing, decent races. Yeah, not a bad day.
Beautiful. So a bit less crowded than Boxing Day.
Oh, 100% less crowded.
Which now is, I think, is their biggest day of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of room to move around. I don't get the experience with. There's not a lot of experience when you want to bet with a bookmaker on track anymore. They don't give you any better prices. Actually, largely the prices are worse than what you're going to get off the tab.
Yeah, just follow Betfair or not even then.
They're worse priced than what you're going to get on the tab, and they're worse than what you would get if you were betting online with your corporates. The attraction to bet with them was interesting, and it was quite funny. Not any bookie had a specific board that they just left up the whole day for the Cup.
Wow.
Which I found
make all the sense
amazing.
in the world, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by that, but yeah, a bit of work to be done there because I just don't see the point of being on course and betting anymore. So, but overall, good experience, some good racing. Enjoyed the day and enjoyed the company I kept.
Very good. I suppose outside of, as I said, Boxing Day and probably Everest Day, they don't really want anyone on course, do they? It's just more work.
Well, yeah, sometimes you wonder, don't you? Sometimes you wonder. But it's still a lovely experience going to watch the horses. And there's nothing like standing 50 metres from the track and watching the horses thud past down the straight. Oh, I love that experience. You just don't get that when you're sitting at home. But I would say that as Knights Chase crossed the line in the Cup, it was utter silence. There wasn't too much cheering going on. Not just from me, in totality.
I think most of Australia felt the same way. But at the end of the day, when you step back from the result and do my arse on the race, it's a fantastic story and happy for connections and that sort of thing, but doesn't pay the bills. So
no, it's like in all honesty, it's a bit of a blight on the race when the race does pan out in the sense of it did around the horses that ran well. Both those horses, first and second, I think ran close to last and second last in the Caulfield Cup, which is unheard of, and a very interesting turnaround of form. But yeah, I was perplexed at some of the tactics and rides in the race.
I can only assume everyone thought that the inside was no good, but then didn't have an answer to where to get to.
Well, let's just take the favourite, for example, Buckaroo. And I'm not just speaking through my kick here, but for what's meant to be one of the world's best jockeys, to take a horse back to the last four in the Melbourne Cup, 20 in lengths off them, and then come 20 wide on the turn and be the widest horse. He ran 33 or 3,400. No wonder at the 200, the horse beat it on its run. Like it came into the race like it was going to be a chance, but the other horses that stuck to, they ran better purely because they ran 150 meters less.
Yeah.
And going past, you always know half or so of the field's going to be stopping, if not more. I mean, it was a good finish, lots of horses in the finish, but that just goes to show you potentially the quality of the field, because generally when there's Some good stayers there. And the internationals were ordinary, largely.
Just on the jockey, I think it's been pretty well exposed now, but I know he's a superstar in Hong Kong, this, that, and the other, but I don't think he's a technical genius by any means in the 3 or 4 years he's been riding
looks
Australia.
Like he just gets on the best horse and holds on.
And has some, don't remember, has nice balance and whatever else, but I can't recall a single ride of his in Australia that has blown me away from a tactical point of view.
Well, you compare the ride on Buckaroo to the ride on Treasure of the Moment yesterday.
Yeah.
And you go wide gate, everyone's worried about the Derby favourite who's got Treasure of the Moment, slots in, one off the fence, 2 back, bang. Race was almost all over them.
Yeah.
And, you've got to be an outstanding stayer over 3,200 to come from the back of the field. Horses like Buckaroo that have the great turn of foot, they don't win Melbourne Cups from sitting back that far.
That's right. You need the.
It had to be
the very
midfield.
Elegant run. Yeah.
You had to be very elegant run, sitting midfield, try and get into the running line or with cover, and hope that you can explode, past the clock tower and hold off. And let's be honest, Buckaroo, that's the way it had to be ridden.
Yes. The other good ride, the other one was Gringotts' fantastic ride in that race. I thought that race was over after 100 metres.
Yeah, it was an
once
obvious
Tommy found
miss
a spot
on track.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I saved on it because my brother's like, I can't let it get under my guard. But again, fell into some other horses where that was just clearly the best horse. If Gringotts drew gate 5 to 10, it probably would have started $3.
Yes.
But instead, you got $5 and bang.
Yep.
It was never going to be beaten once it got that run.
Yeah.
Because it was on speed. And mind you, anything from back 6 or onwards in that race was 6 lengths off them.
Yes.
And they were never going to run Gringotts down.
100%. I am. And I saved as well. As I said, I was so scared of it just blowing that field away. And I suppose that's what happened. And probably the other mistake was Nash gave up the spot that Gringotts got, really, from gate 1. But
yeah, but I mean, it just
some
of the decisions on some of these rides. As I said, I didn't watch a lot yesterday, but I only had to even look at the last race at Melbourne yesterday. Poison Chalice back in the last, and J-Mac on the other thing just sits just off pace in the running line. You're going to have too much work to do. You've got to make up 15, 20 lengths.
Yes. No, 100%. That's about 8 minutes of us complaining. So we will give out some tips now, and hopefully I haven't lost everyone, and talk about Champion Stakes Day, though, where the rain's finished, as far as I know. They'd planned to wall the track anyway. I'm treating it as a soft track. The rail's gone at 8 metres. Let's see how far off that they get throughout the afternoon. And let's open up with the 1,600-metre benchmark 84, which is an odd race, really, and features a couple of internationals coming off some synthetic form. Was there any that caught your eye,
though? Not a great deal, to be brutally honest.
Okay, is that it?
That's pretty much it.
All right, no worries. Yeah, I can't say I was that excited about it either. I think it's worth a spec, perhaps something on Prince Eric, who is one of those internationals, unbeaten since gelded. The jump outs were good, and doesn't have to be a star to win this, as the saying goes. And I thought the blinkers going on England helped last time out. It was quite strong through the line. It was only Murray Bridge, but I think the second horse there has some ability. Nation's Call next best. It'll lead the odd race, which probably isn't a bad thing.
England had some pretty good wraps on it early in its career, and that was a pretty good win last start, to be honest. And interestingly, it's kind of gone from Victoria to Adelaide and then now comes back. That's a good sign for me. Generally, some of these horses, I know when I was down at Melbourne last year, some of these horses coming from Adelaide, they had a really good result coming there and winning races. They tended to stand up. So I think that could be one here.
The second is the Inglis Banner, the 2-year-old race here. And very open race, and obviously we're going to learn a lot out of this. I thought Chisholm was sort of easy to like here, though. I thought it started its career in Sydney. Both Sydney trials were great, showed pace in both of them. We'll just see how this track plays as to where everyone gets to in the run by this stage of the carnival. But look around the 450 mark. I think that's fair enough. without a great deal of confidence. And again, a light betting race here. And I thought the Hayes boys keep rolling out some nice-looking early runners. Latin Boss and Rohesia will make them the dangers from that stable. What about yourself?
Yeah, I thought I'd go Latin Boss from the Hayes stable. We saw earlier in the week that tends to these ones bob up. I think sort of got 3 out of the 4 that they started in the top few placings. So I've got Latin Boss on top. I think the 11 gate suits come down the middle of the track there. I thought the Main Danger was probably the other one that might be next to it within the law from Bjorn Baker's stable. Only had the one trial at Hawkesbury. That was nice enough, and interesting he's taken to Melbourne.
Beautiful. The third is the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, 2,600 metres. Kinesiology's been saved from Tuesday for this. Is it worth discussing much more than that?
No, I like the fact that Sturdy was out on Tuesday, but happy it's in here. I think it's the hardest to beat and going to run well. So I had it on top. Main Danger is the ever consistent Berkeley Square.
Yep, we made the whole case about it on Tuesday. I won't repeat all of that. Now gets D Lane instead of, I think it was going to be Joe Moreira, wasn't it? So that's probably a tick, and I'm backing the stable have made the right call in a race full of other horses I am sick of talking about. The fourth is the Always Welcome Stakes, 1,200 metres listed race here. And I've gone straight to Ray Magnerio, your horse, actually. Speaking of your horses, it's good to see Garachico win at 100. I think you've only tipped that every race start for the last 4 years, but anyway.
Of course.
Yeah. Your horse here, though, is going to win Ray Magnerio. I loved what it did last week against Mahaba, who I tipped at 20s, by the way. 7-day back up, straight back here, and this is almost an easier race. The Main Danger is a different form line in Nadal. Outside gate, Mickey D did smash them up the straight. I did smash him at Caulfield. Wasn't as explosive up the straight, but third up here, I think, improves. The only other miss it had up the straight was in the Coolmore, so I suppose that's no knock. That's really about it. What have you made of this?
I think this is a pretty good, interesting race. Pretty open. They've got some horses that, the top 5 have all got ability. I went for Ray as well. Just liked the gate 14. It's ever consistent, never runs a bad race, and has gone well at this track before, never being out of a placing. So I thought that stood up pretty well here. Nadal, I'm scared of. I think it's is a horse that's got plenty of potential, and the last few starts have been pretty good. I was a bit unsure about others. Front page.
How's it that short?
I don't know how it's that short. It's been at this track 6 times and hasn't has won only one race. Not quite, and doesn't have a great second up record. 8 starts, only 1 win and 1 placing. So the statistics for me are against it. So I was happy to leave it out. Barber and Moby Dick are both worth both chances. Moby Dick was great first up, but probably hasn't reproduced that yet. But yeah, Ray for me.
The fifth is the Matriarch Stakes, over 2,000 metres for the mares, Group 2 level. Another interesting race. Who have you come up with, though?
Another interesting race. I came up with a couple here that I was playing. I've gone on top Firestorm. I'm going to forgive it last start. I just don't think Moonee Valley is the track for it. I think it'll be much suited here down the Flemington Straight. I think it gets drawn to run really, really well here. And for that reason, I had it on top. And I had one at odds as the Main Danger in Kind Words from the Lee stable, being brought down here from Sydney. And I thought the recent runs this time in have been pretty good. Interesting, it's brought down here, 1 over 2,000 last start at long odds on at Kembla. So that might have just been a hit out for this. And this looks like it's grand final, so maybe 1 at odds.
It was very much a hit out, and it's a horse I've been attached to. I think I was tipping to win the Oaks last year, so I am scared of it. I'm excited to bet in this race because there's no way I'm backing Hinge, and it's somehow once again taking up a third of the market after doing the same thing last week and getting beat. I went looking to Firestorm as well. Moonee Valley was in its track. Had a lot to do there as well, and Flemington will set up much better. It'll sit closer from gate 6 for Damien Lane. It's on top from Quickster, who's now third up. It was very good in a warm-up run first up, came to Sydney, was only grabbed by Lekvado, who rode back in this race. It's $8 as well, and Private Legacy, nothing went right at Moonee Valley. It's better than that if it runs to the run before it is over the odds. I want to back those three. And like I said, gave some strong consideration to Kind Words next best. The 6 is the first of the Group 1s, the Champion Sprint, and another very interesting race. We've got the Everest winner here, Bella, off another win last week, taking on its a couple of the main rivals. She's got an awful straight record.
Mm.
Is she going to win this, though?
I'm nervous. I'm real nervous because I backed it all four starts this prep, but I'm not going to here. I just can't, given it's had 10 starts at this track and hasn't won a race, and this track and distance 5 starts and hasn't won and only finished in the placing once. Obviously, potentially a better horse, much better horse now than then, but that doesn't kind of stack up for this race in that sense. And I'm not sure if this was ever on the agenda. So I'm going to go away from Bella Nipotina here with reservations. My tip is Overpass. I'm going to go Overpass here. I think that was outstanding first up. I love that run. I think this will be suited here down the straight. Gets the right draw here and can be super hard to beat. Barraquel, that was devastating last start. I think it's not without a chance. And one at odds, I Am Unstoppable, and second behind Barraquel last start. I think he can run super well here. Goes all right. Again, just finding it hard to win, but got it in my numbers.
I think this is such an interesting race because it's got, I guess, the up-and-coming sprinters now taking on what are the established ones. I'm tipping Overpass 2. Ran a quicker time than the Everest itself on the day. It's just a fantastic horse. It's 2 runs up the straight, won the English sprint, and just was given absolutely no chance in a Coolmore. I think it can win this, and I'm going to put it on top. And then I'm going to go away from the Everest form altogether. I'm going to say that Bellatrix Star beat Homegrowing Empire last start. That form ties into Bella, and Giga Kicker can run well at double figures. And I am so excited to see how Right to Party and Barraquel stack up, because they're the fresh blood on the... Well, one's the straight sprinting star of the last sort of 6 months, and Barraquel might just be a straight-up star soon. So Gate 1 was the only reservation. I'm almost enticed to leave Bella out of a quaddie and just try and get the value around those double-figure ones. Very good race. Looking forward to seeing it. Then we've got another very good race in the Champion Sprint over the mile. Everyone's dodged Via Sistina and gone back to the mile from the Cox Plate. And after pondering this for a bit, I decided to go away from that form and just put Antino on top. Absolutely phenomenal last time out. Has been given time to get over that run and has dodged an absolute car wreck of the fastest Cox Plate ever. I think it's fresh here, ready to go, and is a very live chance. And out of the Cox Plate, actually was going to say Mr. Brightside has the best chance here. Back to a mile, was up the inside last time out, but the only one I'm really going to get back will be Antino, and look, I might even have something on 60 to 1 pinstriped as well. I believe it was lame last time out, but yeah, my gut is to just get away from the Cox Plate. My gut is also Fangirl does not like any pressure at all up front and won't hack it here, so I wasn't left with much else. Who have you come up with, though?
So Fangirl, what's the speed map here?
Pride of Jenny.
Pride of Jenny, of course.
Yep, so she'll be with the new jockey, by the way, so, really have the... Maybe doesn't try and go that fast.
Who knows? Who's going to chase?
This is always a question. I know you're going. Probably Another Wil, who won't keep up.
Yeah, which is my concern, because I am tipping Another Wil, and I'm hoping it's not the one that chases.
I don't think Broadsiding will want to... I'm, concerned for Broadsiding out of that Cox Plate back to a dry track as well.
Yes.
Like, there's no other pace, so I can understand it. Probably Mr. Brightside.
Maybe.
Mr.
But what
Brightside.
about Antino? Do you think they will go back and try and sweep around like they did last time? Or do you think they
Gate
might try and
12.
ride on pace again?
I think Gate 12 has probably got the chance, because it can ride the pace, maybe it tries to get in sort of 1-1, if there is a 1-1.
Yeah, that was my concern that I was
Yeah.
trying to work through.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Another Wil because I just love the horse. I've got such a high opinion of this horse, and it was outstanding. It never looked like I was going to get out last start. When it did, bang, beat a good horse as well. So I'm not underestimating that form. I've got it on top. I'm going to save on Antino because I do think Antino, that was outstanding last start, and it does have form around this type of horses. So I got it as one of the dangers, and I think Steffi Magnetica can run a good race. That was going to be right in the finish last start. So I kind of went that way. Jenny, I'm just not sure at the moment. Brightside, I just can't.
Enough.
I just don't see it. And broadsiding, I've got a question mark over its winning races at this level.
I've just had this pop into my head. What about my Oberon finding the right spot there?
Possibly.
For Nash, avoiding the Cox Plate. Good race. Beaver's with Another Wil, I guess. And I'm with, whatever I said. Who was it? Antino. Pushing forward, but looking forward to seeing it. The Champion Stakes is up next. We've got the next Group 1, 2,000 metres. V Sistina out of that Cox Plate. I know I just sort of, essentially shit can the form, but does it matter when you win by 8?
Nope.
Can anything beat it?
Nope.
Anything else to say?
Nope.
Cool. For the sake of something interesting, I'll throw Elias into a quaddie. In case everything else falls over, I suppose. Caulfield Cup winners here too. Won't run out of place. The 9th and last is the 1,100 metre benchmark 88. And I'll finish off the card with J-Mac. The only concern I really don't like Gate 1, but I struggled to really find much in this race. We saw what he pulled it out on something yesterday from Gate 1 and got to the outside and won. I just think fresh blood on the scene works well here, and I think the danger is going to be Kiko, who had a fantastic prep last time out. Jump out was very good. Beat, I think it was Milano Blonique, whatever the thing was that won last week. $15 is a worthwhile each way danger, I think. What do you make of it all?
Yeah, I went the same way. I thought this looked like another really hard horse to beat, finishing up the day here. It was a good first start, gets the right combo here. They'll manage the draw, and I think it's just better than these.
Excellent. You've got the Champion Stakes Day quaddie to entertain. Have at it.
I do. First leg, race 6. I'm going number 1, Giga Kick. Number 2, Overpass. Number 4, Barakel. Number 3, I Am Unstoppable. And that's it. In the second leg, I'm going number 4, Antino. Number 6, Another Wil. Number 12, Steffi Magnetico. And I'm going to go number 10, Fangirl.
Okay.
Third leg, I'm just going straight Via Sistina. And to finish the last, I'm going number 10, Pisanello. Number 16, Trapeze Warrior. Number 9, Naval Academy. Number 12, Kiko. And number 17, Jewel Bay.
Awesome. Your best and value.
My best comes up in race 3, number 7, Kinesiology. Got it on top. And my value bet comes up in race 7, number 6, Another Wil.
Perfect. My best is the same. Race 3, number 7, Kinesiology. I've made Firestorm my value. A bit short now, but I'll stick with it. Maybe Kiko, if you're looking for a proper double figure chance, can get you home with something in the last. As we head to Rosehill for 5 Diamonds Day. Weather's beautiful. Got some rain overnight. It's currently soft 6, but it'll be good. Rail out 3. Treated that as being pretty neutral for now, but we always can be up the inside at Rosehill. We're just going to start with a 1300 metre benchmark 72 midway, and I will let you have the first crack.
You're all so kind, aren't you? Yeah, I love the way you do
one.
that.
Do you want me to do it? I don't mind. It's not much to say.
I don't know what to do in it, to be brutally honest. I went for number 5, Byron. Don't know why, to be honest. No, it's been there or thereabouts in the last 3 starts since the spell and has been trialling well enough to run well. Just thought this might set up okay for it. Can put in a good run every now and then, and this is a bunch of horses that haven't done much at all recently.
This is very much a race that hasn't done much at all, a bunch of horses that hasn't done much at all, so I'm going with a horse that has done at least something. His last few starts, it's Lady Chicama, gets the best jockey on the card in Jason Collett, gets gate 2, and 2 reasonable Newcastle wins. Probably just means it comes to town at the right time more than anything else. From Conrad, who should have been the finish last time out, but these sort of horses, when you have one for 700 days and you miss your one shot, that shot's probably been fired. Maybe the next danger is Monty Supreme. Awful race. The only one I can entertain is the last start winner. 1100 metre benchmark 78. I'll go first in this one because I couldn't find a single danger. The top weight, Confess Our Dreams. Very good win last time out after 2 good lead-up runs. This race is awful, and unless Passagiata wants to lead it, which is fine if it does, it should jump, lead, win, as Darren likes to say. That'll be the end of section. Even money is good money to me. What about you?
Yep.
Don't tip Passagiata.
Nothing really to add there, mate. Confess Our Dreams for me as well. Got it on top. Wary of Passagiata, but it would need a form turnaround. But it's just well down in the class that it has been running in. But yeah, the other horse looks to be going quite well, and this will be suited here over the 1100.
The third is a 1200 metre class 3 highway. Got something here for us?
Oh, this was tricky. I wasn't quite sure which way to go. I specifically didn't want you to sound the alarm, so I didn't go that way. I'm going for the 4, Zelgaria. Maria is on it, which worries me given I've ripped in earlier, but brings a little bit of a different form line here, and it does have the services it's done as the trainer. So it comes from Ipswich. They generally can go quite well when they come from the highways from his stable. Was odds on and one last start. It's 2 starts back at Ballina. Might be the one to watch.
I'm going with Atmospheric Rock on top. Its last 2 runs went in stronger, chased overpass last time out. And time before that, I think it was Moravia. This is a drop in grade, 1100 metres first up at Brainham. Put it on top, and I will save on Zelgaria. Just the only thing I'm missing is Nash here. Unfortunately, I've got Joe, but 2 nice enough wins in Queensland, and that's just been a formula for success. And I hadn't even considered the Massara horse till you mentioned it, and maybe I should. But not here. The fourth is a 2500 metre benchmark 78, and I'm going with the complete different form line from Melbourne in Roaring Engine. It's $14. It should tag right along the back of Fleet Commander, who will lead. It's run behind Whiskey on the Hill. Last time out would win this. It's run last prep behind Berkshire Breeze would win this. You got Tim Clark, and I'm just sick of every other horse in this race. So it'll go on top. Fleet Commander leads, which is no bad thing around Rosehill. There was a stage I would have tipped Mr. Kipchoge, but I thought it showed itself up to be a complete slug down at the Valley last start, so I've had enough of it as well. Anything else?
For me, you're right. I'm going to go Mr. Kipchoge. It might be a complete slug, but I think most of these are. So it's just which is the biggest slugs.
Fair enough. That is fair.
It's been there or thereabouts. That might be enough to win this, or at least be competitive. But quite intrigued by what you found with Roaring Engine there, because it's behind a couple of decent horses last couple of starts at odds. So possibly not one to get under your guard, but Mr. Kipchoge for me in a race that I didn't get overly excited with.
No. Well, it's a midweek race, let's be honest. Complete midweek race. That's why I found one that had a bit of carnival form around it. 800 metres next, benchmark 78. Is there a bit of carnival form here at all, Beaver?
Not so sure here, mates. Again, another tricky one. I've ended up taking number 3 Naval Commission here from the Mars stable. Decent enough resumption at Warwick Farm there. Sat just behind the pace and was behind a horse that's going quite well at the moment. Had a big weight, comes back a little bit in weight here, and prior to that, some of the form wasn't all that bad in decent races in previous preps, so got it on top.
I'm sticking with Unique Ambition. Liked its first up win, liked its run last time out. Gave a great sight, was just nabbed by Lekvade and Quickster, who I've mentioned at Flemington. So it's on top from the King's Horse, Gilded Water, only because it did trial okay, but doesn't have to be a superstar to, only has to be a Saturday horse to win this race. And yes, Naval next best for me. The 6, we've got the 2-year-olds here in the Golden Gift, another Inglis race. We went with North England first up. I don't think it was disgraceful. I thought it was gave a great sight. Has gone to Hawkesbury and trialled since, and I'm going to stick with it, getting control of this race here. From Galgi, who was decent enough last time out. It's 20-1. It's a surprise. Both these blue colours are enormous prices. The more I think about this, coming out, I know it's out of a different form line, but they do seem like big prices to me. We'll make them both worthwhile dangers, and because I was going to mention Chicama otherwise. Interesting race, though. What have you found?
I've gone for Chicama.
Mm.
I've just gone for the other Waterhouse horse. Again, at the odds, was purchased for 1.3 mil. So obviously got the right breeding and lines here to be a decent horse. And it's won its trial at Hawkesbury just recently, and then trialled at Randwick and was only a length behind Comedy as well, which has come out and won. Mm-hmm. So just a bit perplexed as to why it's $16, but maybe because they're going with the horses that have been tried. So I think that's not a bad price here, with probably the main one to beat the other Waterhouse horse.
Beautiful. Yeah, you said expensive horse. It's a brother to Scholes and another decent sprinter. I don't know if you remember Scholes.
Anyway, I do.
Yeah. So decent enough breeding on its side. The 7th is the 1,400 metre Hot Danish, a group race for the mares. She was a decent enough sprinter in her time as well.
Yeah, big fan.
Yeah. I've gone with the Quinella in the last start mares race, but I'm going to flip it and put Magic Time on top. Third up last time won the all-age stakes. I know that wasn't a heavy, and that's probably a concern here. Aim to be on top from Belclair, because the more you watch that race, the more it just smashed him and gave nothing else a chance. The only thing on it, the only, I guess, issue I had with it, the fact it started 30-1 in that race, but gets Rosehill and potentially the same setup. So I thought the top 2 were the most dangerous here. I couldn't really find another angle of any interest to want to have a look at. I even looked at this Pultrigionis from New Zealand, and the trials are pretty terrible. Have you got anything else?
No, Magic Time for me here, pretty much a standout. This is the weakest class race it's had in a while, and quite happy to back it here. It's probably overs to what I thought it would. I think it probably starts even money.
Okay. The 8th is the 1,800 metre Blue Diamonds, a couple of $1 million up for grabs for the 5-year-olds, and it's very much a 5-year-old race. Is there anything you want to back in it?
I don't mind the race.
I think it's an interesting race. I'm not saying it's a bad race, but
it's an interesting race. Don't mind it whatsoever here. I'm going to back the favourite Territory Express. That was outstanding run first up. Should have won that race. Was given no clear running. Had to duck and weave all the way down the straight. Has a great turn of foot. And I think we know here that I Know a Star's going to make sure there's going to be some pace in the race. There's horses like Attrition that will be happily take the rest of the field up to chasing I Know a Star. And if there is enough pace on here, there won't be anything finishing harder than Territory Express. I had it on top. One that I won't be missing as a saver bet is Kingswood. It's a quality horse, this horse. And again, it defeated Alma Rise, which absolutely walked in yesterday at one of its latest starts, and Berkeley Square, who's going well as well. Yeah, I think $10 is not a bad price here and can run well.
I just had visions of the same thing that happened to Territory Express happening again. They've got it mapped. The New South Wales maps have it 5 back the fence. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but
Won't be fans.
I wouldn't want to be. I'd want to be running line, I would have thought. I'm tipping
100%.
Attrition on top. A Group 1 winner. It smashed them last time out. It's trialled since, and that trial was beautiful back at home. And just Gate 5, I hope nothing much can go wrong for it. And you're getting a good each-way price to find out. I agree with everything about Territory Express, and I was on it last time. Like I said, I'm just terrified of that map now. Maybe I'm just jumping at shadows there. I think Pericles improves with the drop in grade as well. Same as Major Beal. Both run better than what their prices might suggest, but maybe it's an easy two-way punch here, Territory Express and Attrition, really, the more I think about it. The 9th is, I'll leave that hanging in the air. The 9th is benchmark 78, 1200 metres, Firestars Airborne, rides the pace, goes on top, should be very hard to beat, was saved from last week for this. And I think Stromboli's finally drawn a gate. If I've said it before, but if it finally gets the right run, it can run a race. It is at least I think it is still a decent sprinter, and $11 make it the main danger. Ironman quick backup is now a horse that keeps missing its shots, and it missed its shot last week again, and maybe it's just out of bullets, Ironman, but I think it's going okay. Not much else to talk about here. What about you?
Yeah, tick, tick, tick for Firestar for me. As you said, Airborne at the moment. It's a similar class field here. Gets the right draw, and it's going to be hardest to beat.
Lovely. 1400 metre benchmark 78 takes us home. Who have you got?
Yeah, interesting race to finish the day. I've gone for number 6, Need Some Luck. Finally got some luck last start, and after a couple of second places, and broke through defeating French Endeavour, who is the second fave in this. I think there's more natural improvement here. Goes up slightly, I think, in weights by a kilo, but that's neither here nor there. I think Gate 8's fine. Look, a lot of these horses, there's not a lot between them. But based on that, I'm happy to go for the ones that are up and running and flying and running well. So Need Some Luck here. Hopefully finish the day with a bit of luck.
I've put a lot of faith in Joe tomorrow, but Chicamahido's a Saturday horse. Was just ducking and weaving late last time out. Before that, its 2 runs leading up were good. And as I said, this is a midweek race at best. It's a decent midweek race, but Chica's back from a Saturday. French Endeavour, I think, should have beaten home your horse last time out, so I'll make it the main danger, but both will go in the quaddie. That'll do. For Rosehill. Quaddie on Rosehill, 5 Diamonds Day. First leg, 1 Belclair, 2 Magic Time, 3 Alentia. Second leg, 1 Attrition, 4 Redina, 5 Pericles, 11 Territory Express, 12 Freedom Rally, 15 Major Bill, 16 Kingswood. Third leg, 3, 4, and 6 Ironman Stromboli Firestar. And last leg, 1, 2, 3, 4 Rock Empire, Chicamahido, French Endeavour, Crafty Eagle. $100 gets you about a third of that. My best, race 2, number 1, Confess Our Dreams. My value, race 4, number 3, Roaring Engine. What about yourself?
My best, race 7, number 2, Magic Time. And my value is race 6, number 3, Chicama.
Very good. What's happening in Queensland?
What's happening in Queensland? Got a couple up in Queensland for us. Going to get off to the start of the day with race 1, number 6, Canoodling. It's a shorty, but that'll lead us up into some of the other races later in the day. Race 4, number 19, Anderson. I think it's going to be super hard to beat. Then we get back into later in the day. I think race 7, number 1, Hard to Say. I think it can bounce back now, back to Queensland and be very hard to beat. And then I like in the 9th race there, second last of the day, number 7, Give Me Space.
Outstanding. Thank you, Beaver.
You're welcome.
Thank you, punters. Hopefully we found a win or two to wrap up this carnival. We'll be back next week with something during the week, as well as, I assume, zipping cups next, or is there something else in town? I don't know. Usually we go to Sandown, don't we, for a week? But
Something like that,
yeah,
yes.
we'll be back anyway, regardless. We've got to start paying some Christmas bills soon. So thank you for subscribing. Thanks for all the feedback. Anything else, Pete?
That's all from me, mate.
Take care, guys. Talk soon.
Look forward to it.